Hey guys, Mike with Gettin Greasy Garage. Yeah, it's been a little while since I could get a video up here. My mother had some health issues that were more important to me than working in the shop. And during that time, I also managed to stick the air hammer chisel point thing into my hand. It was pretty painful. Fortunately, didn't get infected, but just really limited what I could do. So I just kind of pittered around until things got better. Back on the Fairlane here. As you can see, driver's side floor pans are in. This black is some rust killer paint. These tops of these rockers aren't, this side isn't blowing through. It's not bad enough to cut it out and replace it. So I just put this rust stopper on there. It's kind of like POR 15. Anyway, got the pans all welded in. Got back into this back corner here. Had to add a little piece. I had to make up that other piece on the shrinker stretcher there. 64 or 5-year-old car, and some of this metal is just thin. And when you go to weld new metal to old metal, you got to have something to weld to. So, got everything. This pan is 3 pieces. The rear, this is the front pan, and then you got the toe board. So, everything's welded. There's a few spots I need to go back through and touch up the flat wheel a little bit down there. Down in this corner, I got into another spot where I had to patch it. I got to put a few more tacks along here, but ran into the same thing up here. I've got to revisit this right there. This is the edge of the bell housing, and it just paper thin. They had it undercoated, super thick on the other side, and you go to even put a spot weld on it. I got my welder turned all the way down, and it just blows through. So I gotta sit there and make a piece, because it has to come off this angle and this angle and make a transition into this. It's kind of a tricky piece. I've already got one started for it. But I just had to get away from this side for a minute. Got a little bit more grinding here to do. I just need to go around it all with the flap wheel. Of course, run out of flap wheels when you want to do anything. That's typical. So, got to make another run to Harbor Freight. Back here, everything's rust treated. It's just surface rust. All that's good metal. And got into this side. I just cut out the bulk of the rotten sections. As you can see here, this is good metal. This isn't. So once I get the pan laid in here, I will cut this out. Started on the cross members and the floor braces. Got a little bit of toe board work over there. And again, get into here, and this whole corner is pretty crunchy. So I'll probably have to make a piece for that. But main thing is the floor braces aren't rusted through. Still got to strip this one down. So I'm going to move over to the other side and show you guys some other things I found. Alright, so we're over here on the passenger side now, where I can give you a little better view. I started on the driver's side first because, well, quite honestly, it seemed at the time to be the worst of the two sides. And, tackle the hard part first, and then the rest of it's easy sailing. Or so I thought. I got into this side, and and I knew the main chunks of floor I'd have to do, and I've got pans I'll show you. They're just like these, so you know, not a big deal. But on this side, you get into, again, right here, it's pretty crunchy. I'll trim this up higher. I just cut the main rusty stuff out for now. That body brace, or body mount rather, is still good. It's kind of dark in the corner here. There we go. This is very crunchy. As you can see, there's a hole there. You know, I got a feeling that this whole area here is paper thin. This is paper thin. Well, this is questionable. And there's an edge here. It's really hard to see, but that's the actual seam. Ends here. That's where it runs across the front of the toe board. And this is the edge of the panel. So I'll take the spot welds out there, run back, and then we get back into here again. Now, this is pretty crunchy. This is the floor pan. You know, it's blown out over the floor brace. This here, well, the hole there is actually part of the rocker. And this is the top side of the rocker. It's real crunchy through here. It's rotted out here. And it's rough. It's just real super paper thin all the way across here, and of course blown through here. This isn't that big of a deal to make this piece. You know, again, blown out. It's it's just put a 90-degree bend in a flat piece. Cut this one off, weld a new one in. Then we get into here, and the new pan runs along here, right up here. And it'll meet the other panel basically right in here. But this whole piece is blown through. I mean, it's just, I'm sticking my finger through the metal. So all of this has to get cut out. I'm going to have to make this whole piece that fits here, runs back to here, and tie it into the panel. Of course, here's your rear seat bolt, or rear seat nut mount, whatever goes here. I'll have to deal with that. This is the body bolt, one of the body mounts, and it's all blown through. Of course, I don't know, there's not much of the head of that bolt left. I'm going to try to save this and just weld my panel in around it. I don't know, it's pretty crunchy. I got the piece. See, this is part of this is the inner part of the rocker. The floor pan sits on top of it, and then this is the rocker, you know, which curves over and goes down around on the outside of the car. It all sits on it. That's good. As you can see, that front mount there, that's a mounting bolt, which is almost non-existent, so I've got to cut that out, redo all of that. Strip this brace down, and then we'll move back here. The door open here. Fortunately, this is pretty good. It's just surface rust. Now, I did discover back in here, you know, this thing just rusted through in weird places. So I'll have to make a patch for that. That's not that big of a deal, but it's time, you know. It's all just time. I gotta peel all the rusty metal off. I just cut out the bulk of it. So, some unexpected work, but you can't just, well, you can't weld to paper thin, rust pitted metal. You have to cut, excuse me, cut the old metal away and cut until you hit good steel. So, you know, it's turned into more work, but this is a neat old car. It's well worth it. So let me move out to the side, and I want to show you guys a few other things. Alright guys, so here's some of the metal I cut out. Now, you look at that and you say, well, there's not a lot of pinholes, but if you look close, there's holes through it. And there's a ton of little pinholes all through it. And you go, I mean, there, and you go to start welding to this, and the stuff just doesn't, you can't weld to it. It's impossible. So, I mean, that, you see the light through it. So, anyway, let's cut that out. Here's some of the other metal, and you can just see how blown out it is. This is what I'm talking about. This is after, you know, grinding away at it, and you see how pitted it is. And you try to cut this, and then butt something else up against it and weld it, and pretty soon it just blows out, and it's just not worth it. That's where it sat on top of one of the floor braces, but you can see, you know, you look underneath this car, you see this thick undercoating. Really hard to tell this stuff until you get in there and you actually start grinding, which is, you know, I had floor pans for this. I expected this part of it. It was just the extra stuff that I've run into. That was kind of a, you know, here's some more pieces. Just totally gone. You know. But, yeah. So, just want to show you guys that, I mean, you know, it takes time just to cut this stuff out. As you can see, so this is the toe board. The new one underneath it is basically for the passenger, front passenger section. And then I have the rear section over next to the car. At the time that I looked around for patch panels, these were the only ones available. They're poor quality. The metal is thick enough, but whoever bent these up, maybe they went to the Ray Charles School of Metal Bending, but being an oddball, one-year-only car, a 59, you know, you get what you get. If I had my druthers to do it all over again, I would have replaced that whole front floor section, if somebody would have made a decent one. So basically, I guess what I'm saying is, if you have to do floors and floors or any metal work in a car trunk, try to buy the best quality stampings that you can, because, you know, these are better than nothing. It's better than having to make them from scratch, which I don't know that I would even take on. I mean, I have a lot of metalworking tools, but it's just a ton of time. So, you know, these do save some time, but then they also create work, and that trying to get all these bends and stuff, you know, like all these bead roll spots, trying to get all this stuff to line up properly with the factory stuff has kind of been a nightmare. Fortunately, it's a floor, so everything gets seam sealed. It'll get coated with bed liner, and the carpet goes over it. You never see it again. But I believe in doing quality work, and so that's why, you know, the way that I'm doing it, butting the metal up, you know, piece to piece, and then basically spot welding it. so it's all welded as one piece, rather than doing like 1 inch. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can do it how you choose. This is just how I do it. You know, that floor is going to get coated underneath with undercoating and bed liner on the top for sound deadening. Then it'll get insulated and carpet over the top of it. So I'm not super worried about doing a mass finish on the welds. I know they're solid. Nobody's gonna fall through them. They're not gonna rust out again. So yeah, if you're having to do this stuff, find the best replacement panels that you can. In a perfect world, I would have loved to have sent this car out to have the whole thing sandblasted, or you know, even acid dipped. But it is what it is. You know, I don't have a big enough shop. I'm just a one-man operation, so you know I can only do so much. There's all these TV shows and restoration shows and channels and all this, and yeah, they get a car done like this in a complete build in, you know, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Yeah, with 10 or 15, 20 guys working on it. I'm doing this by myself, and it's a lot of work. And then amongst this, I got a family, and I have other customers. So, you know, but the progress is coming along. This is turning into a great car. I'm very happy with where it's come so far. You know, getting these floors done will be a big headache out of my way. It's just a lot of work. There's no comfortable way to do this work. It's not like you can sit at a bench on a comfortable stool and do it. It's a lot of bending over and kind of being a contortionist. But anyway, it's doing it the right way. That's all that matters. This car will be around for another 50 years once I'm through with it. But anyway, guys, this is probably a long enough video at this point. Just wanted to show you progress, where I'm at. You know, here's a piece. This is the start of a piece for that toe board on the driver's side there, where it meets up against the transmission tunnel. You know, I've got the right taper and bend into it. Now I got to put it in the shrinker stretcher and put an arch in it. This stuff takes time. Excuse me. So, anyway, want to thank you guys for your patience. My video, how fast I get videos out sometimes is slow. And then, you know, you stick a air hammer chisel into your hand and you know, family and stuff like that. Well, other priorities. But anyway, thank you for the support. Thank you for watching the videos. You know, like, share, subscribe, comment, questions, all that stuff. If anybody wants to send me any stickers to put up in the shop or signs or anything, you know, be a brake clean sponsor maybe. It'd sure be great. And other than that, you guys have a good one. I will see you in the next one. Stay greasy, my friends.